Hello, hello, Essential Stencil friends. This is Grace here at the Comfy Nest with Grace. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. We're going to try something new. We're going to try something new and different. I hope it works. You can cross your fingers, say a little prayer that everything goes well. We're going to be experimenting a little together. So let me first grab this feed and make sure that I can see comments so we can chit chat while I work. Let's see, and then we'll get started with the project. There'll be no delay after that. Here we go. I think I got it. There it is. All right. So I can see people are here, but I don't see comments over here yet. Let's see. Oh, there's Candy in Ohio, and Robbie is here. Hey, Grace. Hey, she says. Hi, Robbie. Hey. Hi, girls. Hi, Janice. And Dawn is here. Dawn, you were the first to say hello, so thank you. Make sure you're like Dawn, okay, and Robbie and Candy. Make sure you say hello because there will be 3 sets of stencils given away tonight during the live broadcast toward the end. And in order for them to know that you're here, you have to say hi. Say something in the comments. Hello, how are you? What's your weather? Are you crafting today? All the things, all the things. BFF in the house. Hi, Carrie. Welcome, welcome. I always, I call the girls who are on my text alert system my BFFs because I text them about my lunch. I text them about the ding in my windshield the other day, and they text me back, and it's been a lot of fun. So I call them my text BFFs. So Carrie, hello, hello. Miss BFF. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Jana. There's Kip and Donna. Yay, there's Mary. Thank you. This is a Land's End sweater, you guys. I got it, or I got one similar to it for Christmas a couple of years ago, and it's fleece, and I love that I can wrap myself because I'm always cold. Anyway, I went and ordered a couple more. I got it for Christmas, and then I loved it so much I went and bought other colors. You know how it goes. So, okay, this is the set I'm going to use tonight. Okay, and you know the drill, right? You guys know how this works. If you're new to Essential Stencil tonight, if you're new watching the Grace from the Comfy Nest, if you're new to meeting me, make sure you say hello and let me know that you're here. This set has 2 stencils to it. It says Our Nest, and then this one. This is the one I'm going to use. It says Simply Blessed. It's just pretty. It's just a really pretty sentiment. It's a really pretty font. I'm going to use it on this board. I'll show you here in a second. If you're going to make any purchases, I would so appreciate and be grateful if you would bless me by using my code, The Comfy Nest, because that supports me, but it also gives you a discount. So make sure you use one of the ambassador's codes, and I'm forever grateful if you use mine. Hello, Miss Christy from Ohio. Hello, Jennifer. So I can see comments in both places, but I'm going to try to keep up with them here on my iPad, so that you guys can see the project, and if I can make sure that I can see what you can see, and that camera angle is good for you guys. There we go. Now you can see just right. Hi, Dana. Welcome. She says she's new, everybody. Let's say welcome to Dana and all the other new folks. Thanks for being here. So I'm going to do something I've never done before. You guys know I love napkins. We're going to use this beautiful napkin tonight on this project, but I'm going to use all parts of the napkin, which I don't usually do in a project like this. I'm going to try to use it to get texture. So let's just get started. I'm going to put this aside for a few minutes because we need to do our board prep. I've already started because this is many layers. We're going to do this. It's going to be a bit of layering. So here's what I did. I have this gorgeous board. It is thick and chunky, so it's thick. And it has this beautiful scroll design on it. Look at how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it so much. And I painted it, the background, black and white. The words are going to go in the middle, and we're going to be layering some things on here. And then on the top and bottom, I'm going to decoupage the butterflies, because look at how pretty these butterflies are. This is one of the napkins that you can get in my napkin bundles on my website, because you guys know I love my napkins, and I do have bundles. Look at how pretty. Look at how pretty they are. I love the colors. I love the sweet little butterflies. I love the repetitive pattern. We're going to put this, it's going to be like the frame for the board, and I'm going to put it on the top and bottom, and then the words are going to go in the middle, and there's just going to be lots of layers. So let's just get started. I think the first thing I need to do, When you're working with napkins, we separate them. We want to separate the plies. You only want to use, when you're decoupaging, you want to use the top ply. So you see there's 2 layers here. That one came apart really easily. Sometimes there's 3 layers. So I dipped my fingers in water right here. I have a little water bucket. And I'm just going to test and see, is there a 3rd layer here? When you come to one of your corners, you want to make sure that you don't have 3 layers. It feels thick to me, so I think that there are. So some people use painter's tape. Yeah, there are. Some people use painter's tape. I usually just wet my fingers and then press them onto the napkin and pull them apart. And usually the wetness on your fingers grabs the napkins and will give you that look at the corner. So you can see if there's another ply, another layer of napkin. You only want to decoupage the top layer. Because if you decoupage all 3 layers or 2 layers, if it's a 2 or 3 plied napkin, you chance it coming apart on you on your project because the glue may not get through all 3 layers, and you don't want it flaking off later. You want it to stay put, right? So we're just going to use this top layer. So very carefully pull them apart. This I usually save to like clean things up or like use to spread stain or something. We are going to use those tonight. I've never done this before, but we're going to try it. But this is the part that's going to go on the board. Now I want to show something to you. This is a really good, oh, Cassie says I'm frozen. Well, Cassie, go out and come back in. It might just be your connection. Hi, Mary in Illinois. Thanks, Andrea. She says, pretty napkin. I think so too. I love the butterflies. Hey, in Alabama, Miss Terry. We're decoupaging tonight. Okay, so I want to point something out to you. I'm going to place this napkin on the board. I painted part of it black. I showed you that in a minute. And the edges are white. So when you are decoupaging with napkins, tissue paper, anything that's really thin, decoupage paper, sometimes rice paper can be really thin. Take note of what color the base of your napkin is, which mine is white, and then take note of what you're decoupaging on and that color, okay? I'm holding this up and you can see right through the napkin. You can see the white border that I created and you can see this main part that's black. You can see it. You can see white, you can see black. And you see, if I decoupage on the white, how bright it's gonna be. And if I decoupage on the black, how it's going to darken it up. It's going to have a darker base to it. That white napkin on a white background will almost disappear so that all you see is the graphics. So the butterflies and the little florals. There's some florals on there. And that's what I want for this. This black part, I'm not going to decoupage the butterflies on. But first, let's just get the butterflies on and then we'll work with that middle part. And that, I'm going to do something I've never done on this middle part, so stay tuned. Let's hope it works. But let's get this on. I'm going to grab my decoupage napkin, medium. I'm going to use this one. It's nice and thin. You can use Mod Podge. You can use any brand you have. You can use liquid gel, medium. Really, you can use anything you want. I like this one because it's nice and thin when working with napkins. So you can see my napkin is a little shorter, just a little bit shorter than my board. So we're going to have to piece this together. And if I float my napkin back and forth, I can see exactly which butterflies I'm going to get on this border on my frame. And so I'm floating it because I want to get some really bright, beautiful butterflies. And so maybe I'll do this in sections because I want to get these blue butterflies. That's what I want to capture. So I may end up doing this in sections, but let's just see what we get. Let's do this first half. I'm going to add the decoupage glue. Your decoupage glue, usually, for almost all of them, can also be your sealer on top of your napkin. But first, we got to glue this napkin down. I'm only going to do half of it now because I think I'm going to fussy cut the napkin and try to capture... I want to try to capture as much color on these butterflies as possible. So I've got the napkin down. I've only put the glue up to here. Now I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to push this napkin into the glue. Okay, I'm going to push it in. Now the glue is only here. I didn't put any glue down here because I might fussy cut this. I don't know. I've never done this before. I mean, I've decoupaged with napkins, but not on this board before. So we're going to I'm going to stretch this a little and push it in. I'm a big fan of wrinkles, and you're going to see that in a minute here. That's how I was, you guys, I got my second COVID shot today. I've been on the couch most of the afternoon. I know it affects everybody differently. My arm hurts for sure. But the other thing is I just am super tired. Like, I was on the couch, but I was thinking about this project, and I had a plan for myself. And then I was like, aha, I have this new idea. Let's try this other thing. So we're going to try it. Okay. I only glued part of it. You can see most of this is up. Most of it's not on there. I only glued this section. I'll hold it up in a minute so you can see it, but I'm going to cut it. Let me grab an X-Acto knife. This might be the best way to do this. And this board has ridges in it, like a palette board, which I love working with these kind of boards too. I just do. I love them. So I'm going to cut this up to that point because I went right in the ridge of that palette board. Now I have to decide. I think I'm going to choose. Right here is just going to be a big white spot if I leave it just the way it is. So I'm going to cut this napkin. Bear with me, girls. We're trying this for the first time. We're going to cut this napkin here. I'm lifting it up and I'm going to cut it here, and I'm just going to move it down a little because I want to capture more butterflies than what that strip was going to give me on its own. So let's glue this part down. I'm not worried about my edges at all. I'll go back later on my edges with a sanding block and get those off. But now I have this part left. And up here, that part that was just adjacent to what I just used, like right here, there's a lot of beautiful florals, but not many butterflies on that section. So that's why I cut it, so that I can fussy cut and just get more butterflies. I want more butterflies on this. So I'm just going to move the napkin up a little so I get 3 butterflies instead of 2 on this section. I'm glad you said so. Oh, good. Hazel says, you've inspired me to use more napkins for sure. Yes, there are so many beautiful napkins in the world. So many, actually. So the napkin, this width of the napkin is just short of my board. There's just like this little part of the board right here that doesn't have anything. So maybe what I'll do is flip this and grab a different part of the napkin to use so that I can go all the way to the end now. I'm just looking for a part that's going to have a lot of blue on it. There we go. So right here, if I use that part of the napkin, and here, you can cut it beforehand, you can cut it after. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to cut part of it now. Where did I put my, oh, my X-Acto knife rolled underneath my craft mat. It's hiding on me. Okay. This will get me all the way to the end, so I won't have to do a third, section. I'm cutting this, and I'm using that groove in the board is giving me my cut line. So that was easy. Napkins are so fragile, so they're really easy to work with in that regard. And then I can see exactly where one butterfly ends and the other one begins. But what I can do, I'm going to hinge this back. I'm going to add my glue, and I'm going to overlap just a little bit on that other part of the napkin. And then we're going to add a good amount of glue. So my paint job underneath isn't perfect. It really doesn't need to be perfection because you're putting a napkin over it. And in this case, I may even, I'm thinking I'm going to distress a little bit, may glaze a little bit. I'm not sure. I have an idea in my head, but I'm also making it up as I go. I hope you're all good with that. Okay, we're putting the napkin down. I'm going to grab my brush. Now this is just a dry brush. It doesn't have anything on it. It's just a dry, big brush, and I'm using that to push my napkin into the board, into the glue that's on the board, okay? And I kind of overlapped right here where that napkin was. And I'm just pushing it in. Okay, now I should have this part sticking up, which I do. And I'm gonna cut this just to here, because I still need to do this bottom part. So I want that big, I want this napkin the length that it is up top. I don't want to lose that length. So I'm going to just cut so I keep the full length of the napkin. And this is a luncheon napkin. There are dinner napkins, luncheon napkins, cocktail napkins. They are all different sizes, and it's really nice to have a variety in your stash. Okay, the glue is still wet. Oh, I got to glue down this little section right here. And I'm going to show you this. I added a little more glue on top. So this is what I have so far. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that just pretty? It's just such a pretty border, you guys. And yes, I have a lot of excess napkin here. Once this dries, I'm going to let the decoupage medium dry. And once it dries, I'll just take the sanding block off and just scrape all that off of there. But you want to wait until your decoupage medium dries before you do that. Otherwise, you chance tearing the napkin. I missed an edge. Where are my crafty chicks? Look at, I missed a spot. Imagine that. Go ahead, hit the little love button if you know what I'm talking about, because those of you that know me well know I always miss my edges. It's just me. Hey, Betty. Betty's a crafty chick. Listen, what I mean by crafty chick, my business is called The Comfy Nest with Grace, and I call all the girls that hang out with me, and guys, but mainly it's women. It's women. They're all crafty chicks. We're all a bunch of crafty chicks. We hang out over at the Comfy Nest with Grace and in my free craft community called the Crafty Chicks Club. So the crafty chicks who know me know I always miss my edges. It's just a thing for me. Okay, we got that one done. I'm gonna let it dry. Let's go to the other one. Same thing. We're just gonna get some glue on here. And then this is the part where I'm gonna do something I've never done before. Let's hope it works. Denise says, I'm watching from San Antonio, Texas while on a quick trip. I'm so glad for the Essential Stencil reminders when the ambassadors go live. Isn't that the best? Isn't it so fun to get that little reminder on your phone? Because if you're not on Facebook, you're probably not gonna get the reminder. Okay, I have lots of napkin left to use. This kind of makes me think of a wallpaper. Wouldn't they make a pretty wallpaper for like one wall in a bathroom or like in a little breakfast nook or something? I just think it's such a pretty paper. Okay, we're gonna go. It has a lot of red florals, and I lost out on some of those florals on that other section. So let's try to get some of those here. And we're just gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna glue this down. So adding lots of decoupage glue here. When I say lots, you want it to be wet. Okay, you don't want to be skimpy. You want it to be wet, but you don't want mounds of glue and bubbly glue. Like, you don't want it to be like so thick that you see ripples of glue. That's not what you're going for. Oh, I really want to get some of these florals. And there are little red butterflies inside in with these red florals. So I'm going to try to capture some of that red because it's going to be a nice contrast with that blue. So I glued, and now I'm pouncing that napkin into the glue. And now we're going to cut. These ridges on this palette board make it so easy to do that and to remove the rest of that napkin. Got to let that dry, and now I just have to pick out a part for right here. Do you see what I'm doing? Let me hold this up while it's halfway done. Okay, look at all that red. Oh gosh, isn't that pretty? The red, I love the colors of this napkin. This is in, for those of you that shop my site, this is in the bundle called Winged Things. So it's all a bunch of napkins that have winged things, birds of different natures on this, in this bundle. So if you like this napkin specifically, and you want to check them out, you can go to my site and check them out, but it's the one that's called Winged Things. Okay, I'm just trying to pick a part of the napkin that's going to give me some more of those pretty blue butterflies. There we go. If I did that, let's see. This is what I mean by I'm being fussy about it. I'm like choosing the placement of the napkin based on what's on the graphic, okay? I like it where it is. I'm going to fold this back, and I'm holding it like holding the napkin down with this hand so I don't lose my placement, folding this back, and then I'm going to come in with my decoupage glue and just place this down. I know this part's not stenciling, but really kind of what I'm all about at the Comfy Nest is I have a couple of membership groups, paid membership groups, and I love to teach techniques and motivate you to create and to use your supplies, your craft supplies. I like to discover new craft supplies and report to you what works and what doesn't work, and to really help you build your confidence so that you can create and craft whenever you want and just let it be joyful, like not pressure, not difficult, not stressful. I want you to have fun with your crafting. Like it's meant to be our hobby and our relaxed time. That's why one of my paid membership groups is called the Craft Therapy Club. We get together once a month live and craft. And I coordinate and come up with a project and give them all a supply list and templates and everything that they need. And then we get together and we do it live together once a month. And that's super fun. That's just one of the groups. But I call it the Craft Therapy Club because for so many of us, this is our way of chilling out, right? This is the way we relax, and this is our hobby. And hobbies should be fun. They shouldn't be stressful. They shouldn't be something that, you know, that's pressure. It should all be fun. I just missed one little part right here to cut with the X-Acto knife. I think my 15-year-old is home because he's loud. I can hear him in the other room. All right. So I have an overlap right here. Can you see that? Where the napkin overlaps just a little. So I need to decide, you know, just glue it down or cut that off. So let me look at what it looks like. I think it's fine if I just glue it down. I'm going to just glue it down. I'm just going to take the brush that has the glue on it and apply a little more glue on top. And listen, a lot of you tell me in messages and stuff that, you know, I'm a little afraid of the napkins. Don't be afraid of the napkins. Don't be afraid. It takes a little practice, but you'll get better at it as you go. The more time you spend on it, the better you'll be at it. Okay, we need to let all of that dry. And we are going to top coat that with that decoupage medium. We want these napkins they're fragile, and we want them to stay in place. So it's always a good idea to come back in and to put a top coat on. I'm going to wait to put the top coat because I'm not quite sure how the rest of this project is going to end up. And I am really thinking I'm going to distress it. I want it to look kind of vintagey. All right, so we got that part done. I'm going to put that aside. Now here, this is something I've never done before. But this part of the napkin that was left over, I was thinking, listen, when I put napkins down, I love the wrinkles, you guys, and I really embrace the wrinkles. And that's why I was like, aha, if I wanted this part to have some texture, why not use the napkin and really make sure it's wrinkly, right? And then I'm going to paint over that. But we're going to make sure that this is wrinkly. So I'm going to scrunch it up, this napkin, because I want lots of wrinkles. I want it to be textured. Why not use this extra bit of napkin for that? Now, I mean, tissue paper would even be better because it would crinkle better and stay crinkled. But look at that wrinkled up, crinkled up mess. We're going to use this to decoupage. Okay, we're going to do the same thing we just did. I'm going to apply a bunch of, it looks kind of funny, but isn't that striking? Even actually, I really like that butterfly paper, the napkin with the black, because there's such contrast between the black and the white. I love it. Okay, but we're going to try this just because I've never done it. It was an aha moment while I was laying on the couch resting. We're going to try it. We're going to add a bunch of Mod Podge here, and you can really see it because the paint is black and the Mod Podge, or it's not Mod Podge, this is Deco Art Napkin Medium. It is white. It goes on like Elmer's glue, really thick and white. So we're gonna put a bunch of it. Okay, I gotta hit my edges because I always miss them, girls. So now I can see if I miss them. Let's just get a bunch of this on here. There's that line. There's like a palette board line down the middle here. I've never done this, so I don't know. I'm experimenting with you watching. Talk about, I texted all my BFFs and said, I'm going live and it's risky business because I've never done this before. So come watch and see if this is gonna work. Come watch with me. I probably could have used a bigger paintbrush, but that's okay. Now I'm going thick. You see how thick it is? This is what I told you not to do over here. You do not want to, generally you do not want to apply your glue like this. You do not, because you're trying to get it smooth, right? This is not a smooth amount of glue, but because I'm working with a tiny little brush, I'm getting it really wet. And the edges take me a hot minute here. And then I'm trying to avoid, I don't want to hit this other napkin if I don't have to. It wouldn't be the end of the world if I did, but all right, now I want it to stay nice and wet because I have to apply this big napkin on here. And we can just do a section at a time. But the reason I'm going real thick is because I want it to be wrinkly. I want it to be puffed up and textured. Like I said, trying it for the first time here. Okay, we're gonna lay this down. It's a wrinkly old mess. And I'm not gonna worry about it being flat. I'm just gonna worry about covering everything, okay? I'm purposefully trying to make it all wrinkly for texture. Never done it. I don't know if it's going to work. Now, I don't want to have a ton of excess. Like I don't want it to be hugely bubbly, but I'm going to show you something because I'm pushing with this. Oh, and I'm using the wrong brush. This brush that's big and wide, I'm pushing it into the glue, and I want to show you how you can see the parts that I've pushed into the glue and the parts that haven't been pushed in. Because of the black paint, it makes it really easy to see. See what I'm doing? I'm taking this brush and I'm pushing that napkin into the glue. And I want those wrinkles. I want it to be textured. Look at all those glorious wrinkles. All right, let's push. We're going to do this. And see if it works, because I think I'm going to be able to, now I don't want to have like huge folds of napkin that I can't get to stick to the board. I think it would be important that the napkin still has to stick to the board. Otherwise, it'll flake off at some point, and we don't want it to flake off. But I do want texture. I do want it to be all wrinkly and textury, if those are words. All right, look what we got so far. Look at all those veins. Do you love it? All right, stick with me, girls, because in my mind, I have a plan. Let me check the comments real quick. Listen, they say when you get your COVID shot, you're supposed to drink a ton of water. I haven't stopped all day. Okay, you know what happens when you drink a lot of water, right? Like every 10 minutes. I already have a bad bladder. I don't need any help in that department. Yeah, doesn't that look cool, Gina? Hey, Sheila, she's just hopping on now. Hey, my sister's here. Hi, Bethy. Hello, hello. I can't see it. Oh, the chat line on the bottom. So if the comments are in your way, use your finger on your phone or tablet and swipe, touch your screen and swipe to the right, and the comments will go away. I think it's to the right. And then if you touch the screen and swipe back to the left, you'll get the comments back. Okay, I'll hold it up one more time. So we're going to do this for the whole board because I had kind of have an idea here. All right, so this is still flopping here and I need more glue. I'm doing it in sections because the glue will dry before you get to the end. This part will have dried if I tried to glue the whole thing. So since I didn't want that to happen, I figured, well, let's just get started with what we have. So I'm going to peel this back a little. It's coming off easily. Just to make sure I have on this line that we have enough glue that it stays in place and it doesn't flake off. I saw someone say, you crack me up, Grace. I'm so glad. Listen, it's supposed to be fun, right? Who's here wants to have a good time when you're crafting? Show me some hearts. Like who, and tell me, are you a hobbyist? Like, are you a crafty hobbyist? I would think most of you are, that this isn't like your income base. This is for fun. No pressure here. No one's trying to win any contests. We're just experimenting, discovering, playing with our stuff. Like, seriously, just have fun. Use your stuff. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Look at that goopy madness. I love it. All right. Actually, it's so wet, I probably could put enough to get the whole thing done. That would be like right up to there. If I glue right up to there, we'll get that whole thing. And then I have another. Remember, I had 3 plies. So we can use that other part of that napkin. Ooh, we're discovering as we go, girls. We're experimenting and discovering and using up our supplies. What do they say? You can't take it with you? Use your decoupage medium. Use your glues. Use up your brushes. Use your napkins. Use that gorgeous paper that you bought. Did you ever buy something and you're like, oh, it's so pretty, I don't want to ruin it. I'm not going to cut it yet because I'm not sure what I want to do with it. Cut the paper, girls. Use it. Go back to Hobby Lobby later and buy more paper. That's the nice thing about the stencils, because the stencils are reusable, reusable, reusable. There's nothing you can do to them. If you're using glues or texture mediums with your stencils, make sure you wash them. As long as you care for them, they will last you and last you and last you. Unlike your napkins are like, you know, they're consumable. You're going to use them and then you're going to need to buy more. Paper's consumable. You're going to use it. You're going to need to buy more when you run out. Same thing with your glues. But use them anyway. Use them. Get into that craft supply closet or bin or Rubbermaid tote or whatever, wherever you keep your stuff. Get into it regularly and play and have fun and discover. Ooh, goodness, this is interesting. See how it's all bubbly? See how it's all bubbly? But I'm using this to push, and I know it's hard because I'm trying to hold it up so you can see, to push it into the glue. And that's what's creating all those wrinkles. I don't want the bubbles. What I want is the wrinkles. So you gotta push that down into the glue so that all those bubbles get wet and then they adhere to the board. That's the goal, is to adhere them to the board. I might run out of glue on this line here. I didn't have enough glue, but that's okay because I gotta get one more napkin. How can I turn this so you can see it? I need one more napkin right here. So here's my other bit, or I could just cut this. Hang tight. Hang tight, girls. I'm so excited. I hope this works. This is, I'm using the line in, it's because it's kind of like a palette board. And you have to be careful because you don't want your napkin to rip. And when it's wet, that's why I told you to wait to deal with the overages, because when your napkin is wet, it will tear. Yeah, it's tearing up on me because the glue is still wet. So we're going to abandon that. And what we'll do instead, not the end of the world because I'm going to paint over this. I'm just going to grab this other one that I have here, my third ply, and we'll apply that to this end. So let's just get the glue. And I know this is a bit of process. You guys, here's where I'm like, I didn't hit this spot with glue yet. If you're a mixed media fan, type it into the comments and let us know. Where are the mixed media lovers? Where are the mixed media wannabes? Like, you've seen people do it and I was like that for a long time. I watched mixed media artists probably for a year and a half before I finally got the courage up to say, I'm going to try it. And now I'm infatuated. I love it. I love layering, and I love, look at those hearts. I love layering, and I love using supplies up and mixing things together and experimenting that way. I just love it. Okay, so I have this line here where that other napkin ended and this other one will begin. And I've never done this before, but I just want to make sure that I don't have a ton of bubbles right there. Okay, next one up. I know this looks all kooky and crazy. I do have in my mind a plan for what this is going to be. The only thing here is I don't want to see, when I'm done with this, I don't want to see like a really obvious line here. So I'm going to try to get them close. I can overlap them a little, but I don't want to overlap them a lot. Overlapping a little is not going to affect anything. In fact, it's probably a good idea to overlap them just a little bit, the two napkins. But we don't want to overlap them a lot because then this would be brighter than all the rest of it because it's 2 layers instead of 1. All right, we're pushing it into the glue. We're almost done here with this part. Oh my Lord, oh Lord, I think I love it. I talk to myself. I talk to my crafts. I'm talking to you. So, Lord, oh Lord, I love it. Okay, this was too wet when I tried to cut it with the X-Acto knife. This section was too wet. Let's see if it'll cut now, because it doesn't take long for this decoupage medium to dry. There. Okay, got that. That's off. Look what we got. We got a funky, old, wacky project going on here. This is an art experiment at its greatest, at the best. Gretchen's asking about the iron-on method. I'm not even gonna. It would be totally different than this. I don't generally. I have used the iron-on method, but I like the wrinkles, so I don't do it. I don't really use it. Hi, Terry. She says she's hooked to mixed media. Yay! Robbie loves mixed media. Michelle uses it sometimes. Sandy loves it. Yay! I love mixed media. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's try to get off the excess on the sides. That was dry enough. It cut easily. So there's just a bit of excess. And this palette board is nice because I'm using that ridge in the middle the little indentations, the grooves, to pull up the excess. And actually, a little bit of that napkin just got glued right into the white part, which is totally fine because I'm embracing the texture and it blends. It's all white, so it blends right in. Okay, I'm making sure that my edges are nice and glued down. So I'm just reinforcing them with a little bit. This has glue on it, and I'm just reinforcing my edges, making sure they're all nice and glued down. Okay, now this section, again, it would need to dry before I go ahead and sand that off, but I get, this is all pretty much dry. So now what you do with these napkins, when it's hanging off the edge of your board, just come in and at a 45-degree angle, hit the edge of your board with your sanding block, and it will tear the paper right off of there. This is hard for me to do because I'm trying to hold it up to show you, so I don't have much leverage. But when you hit the edges, what happens is the napkin just, it cuts right off, and then you have a nice, clean, beautiful edge there. So this is gonna dress up hugely. When this part's all done, you're gonna be like, what? Because you're gonna be able to see, uh-oh, I missed a little corner right here. Actually, that's where I had double the napkin. I doubled it up right there, so I'm just gonna tear that off and make sure that that part is glued down. This board has such a pretty line on it. It has such a pretty, it's all just fallen to the floor. You can't see that, but it's falling at my feet, all that napkin. So that top part's done. Do you see how easy that was? How fast and easy? Look at how clean and pretty that is. All right, now we're gonna flip it and do the other part, the white part, this top frame part. There's no way around this part of it. I really do think it's easiest just to do it with a sanding block. I get this at the Dollar Tree. You know, they sell them at the Dollar Tree. I also have these on my website. The ones that I have, they have like different grit. Like this grit is the hardest grit on here. And for some of my projects with decoupage, this is the fastest. The coarsest grit is the fastest. There, that's done. So I see this one corner that I missed, of course, right here. My little top peak right here, I missed gluing it down. So I'm gonna really reinforce that with some glue because I'm terrible at my corners. All right, so that part's done. Okay, so look at how it's shaping up. All right, we got to get rid of all this, though. We got to get rid of all this. So let's do that. And then I'm going to paint over this, I think. We're going to try it. I have this gorgeous color called Louis Blue. I think it's Louis. Yeah, Louis Blue. You're going to love it, girls, guys and gals. Once I get into a groove with that, it's so easy and fast to do. There. Done. Now we just have this little mess right here. I wonder if it's still wet. Let's just check. It's still a little wet, and I don't want to bug it out. We'll take the hairdryer to it quick, and let me just hit these edges because my edges are always bad. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of glue. I'm gonna take the hairdryer to it and check the comments. Here we go. This all needs to be dry before I can paint over it, but my plan is to paint over it to kind of show off that texture. We'll see. We gotta get it dry first. All right, let's see what everybody's saying, and I can take a sip of my water. Mary, I think it will too. I love it so far, Rosanna says. Woo, I'm so excited. I can feel the dampness with my hand. I can feel it because it's cool where it's damp. So we're gonna keep going with this. And right here, it looks right where the napkin overlapped, this line right here, you can see it where it's a little white. I'm gonna come in with more glue, and I really wanna glue that down. I'm pushing, it's damp, it's not completely wet. It's a little damp, but I'm pushing that glue down to make sure that that's not gonna flake up on me. I'm going to show you something interesting. I shouldn't be wiping glue off on my sweater, but that is just what I did. I had glue on my hand. I'm going to show you something interesting in a minute. Hang tight. Hang tight, girls. Okay, I think I'm done with this glue for a minute, so I'm going to cover it. I'm so glad you love it. All right, let's see. I'm going to feel it. It's not taking a long time. I don't think it takes a long time. I think it's very fun. Like all the layers, I think they're so fun to try to get like all these layers in and just to experiment and see how they work together. All right, here we go. That's mixed media. That's what I love the most, is the layering part of it, because it's so experimental. All right, I got to go in with the rough edge because it's the easiest and fastest. All right, here we go. That part is done. Okay, where is my glue on my brush? I have one little spot right there that I want to reinforce. Okay, check it out. Now we're going to paint over this black part. The reason I did the bottom black was because I want this to look a little distressed, and the color of blue that I picked is a really soft, beautiful light blue, and I want it to mimic what's in the butterflies. So this black mess in the middle, what looks really messy right now, is going to get covered with this gorgeous blue color. Let me open it and show it to you. It's a big can. Let me get my little can opener. And I'm hoping that the black is going to show through with all those bumps. The black is going to show through and it's going to look distressed and old and aged. Look at that color. Isn't that just beautiful? It's called Louis Blue. It's by Annie Sloan Chalk Paint. And I think it's really gonna go beautifully with these butterflies. We're gonna paint over all of this. So what I wanted to point out to you that I find so interesting, when you pull apart napkins, generally the ply that's just underneath, so sometimes it's 2 ply and it's just one other ply there. Sometimes it's 3 ply, so it's the top, the middle, and the bottom. Sometimes that middle layer has ink on it. You can see the ink from the butterflies and the florals on the paper. And I don't know if the camera is going to grab that for you, but you can see a little bit of that red. You can see a little bit of the butterflies, even though this was the middle layer. I think that's what I got in here because I'm seeing a little bit of blue in that black layer. I'm seeing a little bit of the blue from the butterflies, and I love it. I think it's stinking awesome because unexpected, number one, and number two, like how cool is that? I mean, maybe those sections when I paint this, maybe they're going to be a little darker blue. I don't know, but let's get some of this blue paint on, and I'm going to try to do a really light coat because I want to highlight all the wrinkles and I want the black to come through. Isn't it pretty, Eva? She says, pretty color. I know, I think so too. I don't know. We're going to just, I've never done this before. We're going to come through and we're just going to, I'm going to start by kind of dry brushing, like a heavy dry brush, because I want the black to come through. And when I hit it with the paint and it doesn't saturate the napkin, we're going to see all these wrinkles in here. So it's going to look really aged and old. And I think this could be really cool. I think. Let's try it. I don't know. Like I said, we're trying it for the first time here. So we're just going to apply some of this paint. We can always add more paint. So let's go really light to start. I want that black and I want all those crazy wrinkles. All that texture. I want the texture to show like crazy. I know this is so different. I hope you guys are okay with this. It's like such a different thing than what you might be expecting here. But you know, I like different. I like experimenting. I like discovering, and I encourage you guys to do the same. Just play with your supplies. It's just wood and paint, girls. And your stencils will last you forever, so you don't have to worry about ruining your stencils. I know they're a big investment. Use the code, the company nest, so you get your 10% off. And then use them. Like, don't just hold on to them and not use them. That's no fun. All right, so look at. See how it's all distressy and messy looking? Tell me what you think of that. Janelle Woodshop says, loving it. Janelle Woodshop Creations. Cool. I'm going to have to look you up. I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are, but I think it's cool that you're here. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's keep adding. I'm trying to hold it up so you can see it better. And I'm using a small brush, and I'm doing little bits of paint at a time because I want it to look distressed, and I can always add more paint. It'll be easier to add more paint than to take paint away. So I'm coming in with a really light, distressed coat. And then, oops, and then we can add more later. I'm loving this dang napkin effect. I think I just discovered something, ladies. Don't throw out those second and third layers of your napkins. Don't throw them out. How easy and fun was this? A little bit of glue and a napkin. Who knew? I'll call this my COVID discovery. Because I was laying on the couch from that dang shot, and I had like an aha moment. Okay, I'm gonna hold it up. Now, the stencil is gonna go on top of this blue part. I think it's still just a little bit too distressed. I think I still want more blue in here. Isn't it so different, Debbie? I love what you're doing. So many ideas come through my head now. Exactly, Kimberly. Kimberly, thank you for saying that because it inspires, right? Look at those wrinkles. I love the wrinkles. Embrace the wrinkles. I don't want to lose them. We're going to put this, the stencil is going to come right on top here. And when I envisioned this, I envisioned the blue to be more pronounced, the blue paint, so that I could do the blessed in dark gray. Not quite black, but dark gray was my original thought. Tell me what you think of that. I think that I need more blue, but I hate to lose all that gorgeous distress. Here's what I think though in my mind, like in order for the stencil to show up, I definitely need more blue paint. Okay, yes, I accept that. This though, I want things like this. I want this on my walls, for goodness sake. I want to make tags like this and greeting cards like this. And I want to do a junk journal page like this. Like this is just so fun to me. I don't want to lose all that gorgeous black distress, but I do feel like I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to be really careful because I'm painting on top of a decoupage napkin and I don't want it to tear. This paint is rather thick. It's thick. If I add a little water to my paintbrush, which I'm going to just dip it like just a little bit in my water, it's going to help that blue paint move. See, it's going to help it move a little more and spread a little more. But I want to be careful because I don't want to tear my napkin. So I'll grab a little bit of paint. I'm dipping it in my water, just like the very, very tips, as little as I possibly could. And I'm going to try to hit these dark spots as much as I hate to lose them. I'm going to hit them and I just water down that paint just a tish so I can get it to spread a little bit better. A little bit of water here on my brush, just a tiniest bit. Be careful, it's a napkin and I have not sealed the napkin yet. But you see how I didn't go in for more paint. I'm just spreading the paint that's already there. I'm dipping my brush in water, still just water, so I can move that paint around a little. Now I do need a little more paint. Check this stinking thing out. All my text BFFs, I said, it's gonna be a risk. I'm gonna try something new and it's risky, come join me. Thank you for being here, text BFFs, for all the support and love. All the girls were on my text list. All right, is it enough paint or should we do more? I love the look of this, you guys. I love it. 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 And I'm not even tooting my horn. I'm just so stinking happy that it worked. Okay, a little tiny bit more paint. It goes a long way here. I'm going to hit this transition edge right here. a little bit with just a little bit more. So we get this nice strong transition area from one line to the next. And I didn't want to lose my palette board lines, and I didn't. You definitely can see these palette board lines. And in the middle, there's one that gets a little bit hidden there. It makes it easier to see the lines because of the butterfly, the white butterfly. More blue or leave it? Shirley says she likes it the way it is. Paulette likes more blue, but she loves the wrinkles. Yay! Dawn says, I'm a text BFF. I'm loving that you took the risk. Yay! I'm so glad you guys love it. Okay, I feel like just a little more blue is in order. I'm sorry. I'm almost apologizing to the board because I just think it's gorgeous the way it is. However, I want my stencil to show up. I don't want it to get lost. And I'm starting to wonder if I should do the words in white. Because this blue, with the black behind it, the blue is turning out darker than I envisioned it. Oh, whoa, I got a lot more paint on there than I expected. All right, let's see. I don't know, you guys, do you think I should do the words in white or in black? Or I was gonna do dark gray. This was the color I was gonna do the words in, but I'm not sure that they're gonna show up. I think I need to do white. Now that I see it, and this is what I say, like I have a plan in my head, but sometimes as you go, you decide, oh, okay, gray paint probably isn't the way to go right now. I think I'm going to need to use the white so that it really shows up. And look at how the blue and the black on this center part, how it really makes the blue and the black and the butterflies just pop. It makes the two frames, as far as I'm concerned, it makes the two frames like the star of the show, I think. And I call these the backup singers. Like this part, even though it's the biggest part of it, it fades into the background and then the butterflies take center stage. It's so pretty. It's called Louis Blue by Annie Sloan Chalk Paint. Okay, I'm thinking our words need to be white. You guys, do you agree with me? Yes, Jeannie says white. Gina says white. Yeah, Kathleen. Kathleen says white. I did think about red. Somebody said red, Donna. I did think about red, but I really love when I do this kind of stuff. I love really strong contrast, black and white, right? White and gray. I love strong contrast, so I lean toward the white. Let's do it. This layer, it's cool to the touch, so it's still damp. I'm going to take the dryer to it for just a second. I know this is getting long, but I love the way it's turning out. Let's give it a little dry. As I'm drying this, you know what else I see here? I'm going to hold it up really close before I stencil because I want you to see this just for, you know, future, like other projects and technique. If you look at the wrinkles in this, try to envision this brown on brown. I think this would look like a faux leather. I think we could make this look like a faux leather. Like if you look at all these wrinkles, like look in this section right here. Like, I think you could make that look like a faux leather. And I'm thinking like cowboy projects with, like, you think of like the cowboy saddle, like the horse saddle, right? Let me see if I can get you guys centered in on this better. There we go. All right, let's do some white. Luckily, I can use the lines on the stencil with the palette lines on the board to make sure that I'm horizontally straight. It's always so nice when you can do that. I'm not going to use any tape because, remember, we have napkin here and we have not sealed it yet. So if I put a painter's tape down, even like a nice gentle painter's tape, my fear is that my napkin will come up. So I'm just going to hold it down. I'm going to use one of our Essential Stencil brushes. I have my little craft mat here, so that's where I'll put my paint. I'm holding my blue paints there still, just in case I need it. So I haven't closed that or put that away. But let's just grab some regular white paint, nothing fancy here. Rosanna said, that's what I was thinking. Oh, she's commenting to somebody else's comment. Yeah, I think it looks like leather too. Ooh, 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 darker navy blue, that would be good too. I think my instinct tells me white. I'm gonna go with the white. I'm gonna go with the white. So let's start. I'm gonna hold it down strongly with my left hand and I'm gonna stipple. And I'm really good if this comes out a bit scratchy looking because that middle section is so distressed that I think it would be okay, right? This is an extremely skinny, it's almost as big as one of the, this part of this, the word simply, the parts between the letters is like super, super skinny. So I'm probably gonna have to go in twice in those areas just to add a little more paint. So let's get the L and the Y done. I'm gonna hinge this back and see if it's showing up well enough. I think it will. Okay, let's hinge it back and look. Yes, it's showing up beautifully. And it's showing all those gorgeous wrinkles. I'm so excited. Maybe I'll want a second coat just for opacity. Is that the right word? To make sure that it's not, you know, that we really just see the white. Wow, this font is extremely skinny in parts. So I'm not even, actually, I dipped it in and I don't have a lot of paint there. You can see it's a little bit, but I didn't offload because most of this brush is going around the stencil part. The part that's I'm actually stenciling is so skinny and I'm pouncing up and down so that there's little chance that it's gonna ooze out from underneath it. And the Essential Stencil brushes have a nice, the bristles on them are really firm. They're not super soft, so they stay in place. You notice when I do this, you know, they stay in place pretty well. So it makes it easy to do the stippling. I think on the skinniest parts, I'm gonna come back in and do a second layer. Any more paint? There we go. Now that I'm gonna have to offload some of that. That is way, way, way too much paint. So I'm gonna offload that, and I just want the bristles to be covered. Okay, because it's so skinny. It's such a skinny font. You'll get a feel for this. The more you stencil, the more you work with your brushes or your whatever applicator you choose, you'll understand the nuances of it. You'll understand what works and what doesn't work. You'll get a feel for it. The more experience you have, the more confident you'll be. So just go. Go, 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 girls. Guys and girls. Craft your little hearts away. Stencil your little hearts away. Practice on cardboard if you need to. Use the inside of your cereal boxes and pizza boxes. That's what I do. Oh my Lord, you guys, it's so pretty. Okay, the Simply part is the font is really narrow. The Blessed part is much chunkier. It's thicker. So we're gonna go in. I can hinge that back. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit. I'm gonna start in on the word Blessed. And if I have to go in with another coat, I can. We'll hinge it back here in a minute and look at it and see if we need more. I'm being very careful because I didn't tape it down to not let it move on me. When I'm done with this, you tell me. Let's do a little survey. Get your little typing fingers ready and tell me what is your favorite top coat. For a project like this, what would you use for your favorite top coat? Go ahead and type it in the comments. And if you don't know, just say, I'm not sure. I'm wondering the same thing. What would you use for a top coat? I find a question like this so interesting because I was actually watching another crafter today and she was using a wax that I happen to love. I love it. I love the wax that she was using. And she was like, I'm not a fan of this wax at all. She just didn't like it. And I said, you know what, it's so funny because the one that I love is the one you like the least. Okay, it's just a matter of preference. It doesn't mean that one is right, one is wrong. It just means we have different preferences. So I'm going to be curious. I'm going to check. I see clear sealer. I'm going to check these comments and see what you guys are saying. But what type of top coat are you going to use here? Remember, it's a napkin, painted napkin, and I already have the decoupage glue used, which is a glue and can be used as a sealer. So I'm wondering what you would do. And then I'll tell you what I think I'm going to do. But let's get this. I'm almost done. We're going to reveal this here in like less than, I'd say, 3 or 4 minutes. I need a little more. I ran out of enough paint to do the bee. Sorry, bee. I'm loaded back up. Here I come. I can't wait to see what you guys say about the sealer, because I do find it so interesting. We all have our favorites. I just threw out a can. I just finished up another can of matte Mod Podge spray sealer. It's my favorite for a project like this. So I will tell you what I'm going to do with mine. Let's hinge it back and just look and see if it's coming through clearly enough or if I missed anything. Oh, Lordy Lord, I'm so stinking in love with this, you guys. I can't even. I'm going to hold over here now and hinge this part up, make sure I got all of the bee. There's just this little part of the bee right here that's cloudy, not really white. I want to make sure that's white. And then I think it's done. Like, I think I'm really good with all of the lettering. Okay, let's put this aside and a little like, whew, I'm working up a sweat here. You ready to see it? The poor bee. I know, Donna says, poor bee. Karen says she might use a wax. I've never used wax before, but I think that would work. A spray poly, Kip says. Hi, honey. Hi. You want to come say hi to everybody? No. They would love to see your face. Come here. You guys, this kid just came from coaching his very first football game. This is my freshman. This is my Landon, who's my 15-year-old, and he just coached, is it 5th and 6th grade? Mm-hmm. He's helping to coach the 5th and 6th grade football teams. I can't wait to hear about how it went. Yeah. I'm going to finish my live, and then I'll come out and chat with you.
When do you think you'll be done?
I'd say about 10, 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah. He just coached his first game. They had the high school kids helping with the like middle school kids, and because they have lots of kids and they needed more bodies on the fields with these kids running plays, and so they just had their first game. It's so exciting. I'm so excited for him. Tracy said, hello, Landon. Yes, that's my Landon. Robin says, I've never sealed anything. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Gary says, hello, Landon. Currently, I use Mod Podge Sealer. Janet, that's like my favorite. Okay, so anything that might smudge on you, I generally spray it with a matte Mod Podge. I'm a fan of matte. Sometimes I use glossy, but almost all the time I use matte. And I'm a fan of the matte Mod Podge spray. And then, for something like this, because it's very delicate, I think I will spray probably 3 coats, because it goes on really, really thin. Your spray at sealers are going to go on really thin. And so I don't rely on that as a sealer, but I do use them. I do use it to seal it well enough so I can come in with my brush coat sealer. You can use your Mod Podge as a sealer, or I'm a huge fan of that Rust-Oleum. I pulled it out the other day for you guys. I just threw out a can because I finished it up. Like I just ran, I have 1 can that I just finished. Let's see. My other can is in the basement, girls. I can't show you, but it's Rust-Oleum Chalked Matte Sealer. That's my brush-on favorite. So I usually spray with the matte Mod Podge, especially if it's something like this that is a very delicate napkin. I want it kind of sealed before I go in with a really heavy brush coat, a thick coat of my matte Rust-Oleum sealer, so that it's protected. So that's why I like to spray first. And if you're using anything that's water soluble, like your like a charcoal pencil, which I do on some of the projects. I use charcoal pencils. I use like chalk paste from Chalk Couture because I'm a designer with Chalk Couture. Like those all will smudge. If you come in with a brush coat of sealer, those things will smear on you and you don't want that. So spray it with a light 2 or 3 coats of your favorite spray, which I like the matte Mod Podge spray, and then go over that with a similar, so I'll use matte again, brush on. Okay, here we go. Here's the big reveal. This actually would be very pretty glossy, you guys. I'm going to take this off and then I'm going to show you. Oh, you guys. Look at this. Gorgeous. Look at that. Look at all those wrinkles. And look at the wrinkles come through on the letters too. You can see them. I'm trying to hold it up really close and go by really slowly so you can see. Oh, my Lordy Lord. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Simply Blessed. I really like this set too. This set, remember, it comes with Simply Blessed and it comes with Our Nest. And it's such a pretty font and such a sweet sentiment that can be up year round. This can be up, this would make a great Mother's Day gift. It could be up year round. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see what everybody's saying. Oh, Tina says it's beautiful. I'm so glad you guys love it. I'm so glad. Thanks, Bethy. She says beautiful. Maggie says nice, gorgeous. I love that word. It's gorgeous. The edges, I was going to distress the edges black, but you guys, I think I'm going to leave them. Tell me what you think. I was going to come in with a distressed black edge, but this distressing is I love the way this distressing came out. I was going to like blacken these, but I think I'm going to leave them plain because I really like the crisp, clean look of the white butterfly. I think it really is a striking contrast between the distress here and then this white crispness here. And I think they really complement each other. So I think I'm going to leave it. I'm so glad you guys love this. Thank you, Deb. You're so sweet. She says, great job, Grace. Thank you. Linda says, so unique. I'm glad we took the risk, right? Glad I took the risk. Glad you were here with me for this. We'll be seeing here in a second. We'll announce the 3 winners for the stencils tonight. If you're catching the replay, make sure you comment replay because within 24 hours of this broadcast finishing, they'll choose another winner. I would be honored if you'd all come over to the Comfy Nest with Grace, follow the page, and then join my free craft community called the Crafty Chicks Club. I would love that. Okay, here we have winners. Jillian White, you are a winner. It's Judy Nickens, you are a winner. And Jill Weiser Menke, you are a winner. Ladies, your names are pinned in the comments as well as the email address that you would want to send your email and your mailing address to so that Essential Stencil can send you a set of stencils. How exciting is that? You guys, thanks for being here with me. Make sure that you are following the Essential Stencil page and get on their text subscription thing because it's nice to, first of all, once you join the email, every Sunday they send out the schedule for the week. So you know what time all of your favorite ambassadors and what days they're going live. You will get all the notifications of the specials and the pre-orders and all that stuff. And the text service lets you know anytime one of us goes live. It texts it to your phone rather than you having to be in Facebook. You can be like doing the dishes and get a text and be like, oh, look, Grace is live. I'm going to go on Facebook now and see what she's doing. So make sure you get on there. Thanks you guys for being here. I am so honored to have your company. Blessed to be an ambassador for the company because I'm such a fan of the stencils. Go grab your stencils. Use my code, The Comfy Nest, to get your discount. And I will catch you guys all next week here on the page. I'm live every Thursday. So next week it'll be at 11 a.m. since it's 8 tonight. Okay. Bye, everybody. Take care. Happy crafting.